This is Sarah Meixel with thecattlesite.com, and today we're here with Gary Vogel. He is a technical advisor of Elanco. Thanks for being with us today, Gary.
Thank you.
And I understand that Elanco has been part of the Enough movement. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
You bet. So when we look at the Enough movement was created by Elanco to try to create awareness and create advocates for animal agriculture. One of the other reasons we have the Enough movement, or we created it, is because as a company, we are spending a tremendous amount of time focusing on trying to make the world a better place and helping to bring the message of hunger and the worldwide strife that we see around hunger to create awareness around that.
Very good. And you said that the president of your company is really the one who started this.
So this actually started by our president, Jeff Simmons, and he started this program about 10 to 15 years ago, not necessarily the Enough movement, but the awareness concerning starvation and hunger. It actually started, in the story that he tells, is when he was in Brazil, one of his employees actually came up to him, and his employee's children didn't have anything to eat for 2 days. And as he started looking around trying to understand, he became more aware of the amount of hunger that exists in the world. And we also see that as we look even with our own cities here in the United States, the amount of people that simply don't have enough food. One of the things we talk about is that only 40% of the world lives on less than $2 a day. And because of that, it's important that we promote animal agriculture and become an activist for the programs and the things that we do so that we can feed the world.
Very good. Now, tell me a little bit about what some of your findings have told you. What are some of the overarching ideas and concepts?
So as we talk about the Enough movement, I think it's important to put this into context of what's going on in the world. As first thing that we typically see is that we're increasing in the next 35 years, that by the year 2050, there will be approximately 9 billion people on this planet. What's also important to recognize that in the next 35 years, 3 billion people will be increasing to the middle class. One of the things we know and understand is that as those 3 billion people move to the middle class, they desire more meat, milk, and eggs. And so we expect to see a 60% increase in the demand of those products over the coming years.
Very good. And what does that mean to the agriculture industry?
So as we look at what the opportunity is for the agricultural industry, it's almost a curse and it's a blessing. If we sit there and we think about it, it represents a tremendous opportunity for the livestock producer to produce more and have a market for their animals. The challenge that we face is that as we try to feed this world, we're currently living in a world today where we're using more than 1.5 times the amount of resources that we have or that we can produce in the world every day. So as we try to feed a bigger world, it's simply not sustainable just to continue to increase production.
Very good. And so something's got to give, in other words, right?
Absolutely. So as we look at the Enough movement, what we're trying to do is to increase awareness of the situation as the global population grows and as the middle class grows, is how are we going to feed this world? And as what we've seen is that because we're going to see an increase in consumer demands, we have to find alternative ways that we can do this by freezing the environmental footprint but yet increasing productivity. And clearly one of the things that we see that makes a lot of sense is adoption of technology to help feed the world.
Very good. And if people want to get more information about this movement, where do you go to get more information?
So the first place we would recommend is to go to the internet and type in enoughmovement.com. And if you go there, you can actually sign up and receive reports from the Enough movement. And we're trying to encourage more and more people to become involved and become advocates for animal agriculture.
Very good. And this is a global movement, not just the U.S.
This is a
correct?
global movement. We are trying to get people around the world aware of what we're trying to accomplish and trying to have everyone get involved.
Very good. Thank you so much for your time today, Gary.
You bet.
This is Sarah Meixel with thecattlesite.com.